you should call him. And I was like, are you kidding me? First of all, you want me to meet him and then you want me to call him. So I already had kind of a thought that this dude must think that he's all that if he thinks I'm calling him, because I'm not going to call him. So I never called. Like he said, he threw my number away. I threw his number away.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Hey everyone, this is Snooks.
And Lovey.
Have you ever felt that you need additional assistance enhancing your intimacy?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Okay, I'm not talking about in the bedroom. I'm talking about making the connection with your partner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? There's an app for that.
Yeah, and it's called Intimately Us.
I love that app because you know what? You get to play so many different games.
Yeah, you're interrupting. They have Battle Strip.
And Sexy Twister, which is one of my favorites.
And they also have conversation starters and...
I love the how-to. There's a how-to where you can actually learn techniques and things that you want to try with each other along with the sexploration list.
So I was going to say, they also have great date ideas. So if this sounds good to you, download the app at r.intimately.us/MIC.
That's r.intimately.us/MIC.
The link will be in the show notes. Now let's get ready for the podcast.
Welcome to episode 183 of the Married into Crazy podcast. I'm Lovey.
And I am Snooks.
She is Snooks. And happy International Women's Day.
I was getting ready to say that to all my lady listeners out there. Happy International Ladies' Day, Women's Day. We are fabulous. We are fierce. We are great. Never let anyone tell you that you're not.
Come on. Well, you know, we probably should have a podcast about International Women's Day, but...
we will.
Okay, we will in the future. So that's a teaser for what's coming up down the road. But first, we have to let you know that we've got a special treat for you this evening.
Yeah, so everyone knows, I mean, for all our listeners, you've been listening, you all know that I am in the throes of my master's program. And logistically, we were not able to record a new podcast.
Yeah, Snooks is taking a break from the piles and piles and piles of homework,
research, everything.
Yeah, so giving grace
because Lovey's not helping me do my homework.
So
he said, "Babe, just let me know what I could do for you. If there's anything I could do." I was like, "Okay, cool."
That did not include writing a paper for you.
But you didn't put that in the disclaimer. You said anything.
It's in the fine print.
I checked.
So with that said, she's taking a break right now. I had to actually drag her from her books in order to come down, sit down, and do a preamble. So there's been a lot of questions about how we all began. And we love telling the story of how we were bamboozled into meeting each other. And though I like to kind of embellish a little bit and tell my version of it, then there's her version. And somewhere in the middle lies the truth. And that middle ground is what you're about to hear today.
Okay, first of all, there is no middle ground from my version. My version is the truth. So,
oh, that's so cute.
It's so cute because I'm right.
So no, what you're about to hear is our very first episode. It's called Bamboozled. And this was the brainstorm of that came right after we went to an Eric Thomas conference in San Francisco. And I believe we go into it a little bit in the podcast itself, but the bottom line is things have grown dramatically from August in 2018. We hadn't yet celebrated our 22nd marriage 22nd marriage anniversary, and here we are now.
Yeah, I've only been married once. So.
It's like, this is my 22nd marriage.
22 times, so.
They said the 23rd time's a charm.
Is it?
Hey, so without further ado, Snooks is giving me that look like she needs to go back to her books. So enjoy Bamboozled.
And we'll see you next week. Welcome to the Snooks and Lovey Show.
This is your chance to sit back and get your ear hustle on with a couple that's been married 20 plus years. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality in our slice of America.
All right, let's go.
Well, welcome to episode 1 of the Snooks and Lovey Show. My name is Ernie, better known as Lovey.
And I'm Rana, also known as Snooks.
And what we wanted to do in this first episode was really just kind of give you a brief overlay of who we are and what we're about and why we're even doing a podcast. Bottom line is, we've been married for
over 21 years, almost 22 years.
Almost 22 years. And it's not just about the marriage. It's about, the pre-marriage, the marriage, staying married, trying to keep it together on a daily basis over the last 20 plus years. And we've been through a lot. And I know a lot of couples say they've been through a lot, but you'll discover over a series of podcasts, we've been through a lot.
Well, and this is not, the podcast didn't, or the idea for it, it wasn't like our brainchild. It was actually other people like, oh, you guys should teach, or you should talk to other couples, or you should help doing ministry and that kind of thing. So that it kind of came, it was kind of birthed in that. And so the best way to probably talk to people you don't know is through the podcasts.
No, I agree.
I'm new to it, so.
It's new to both of us. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but Rana, Snooks is really right. It's through our, I don't know if you want to call it a ministry, but having other couples that we've spoken with and tried to help out as they've gone through stuff. People said, you guys should do more of this. You guys should talk to other individuals. And this is our attempt to actually do that and fit it into our busy lives. Like, you have a busy life, so do we. We have other things that we do. But, long story short, it was one of those situations where we didn't even meet traditionally. We met on a blind date.
Well, it wasn't really a blind date. It was a blind, kind of like a blind hookup, I guess. Pretty much.
Well, hookup means something different nowadays.
I'm sorry, not a hookup. It was a blind bamboozle, because we were kind of, when you say we were a little bit bamboozled. So what happened was, I worked with a lady who was friends with his mother. And just one day, out of the blue, we're like in the cafeteria area or getting coffee. She just turns to me and says, there's this guy that I think you should meet. He's really nice. And I was like, okay, because like I said, it was out of the blue. And I was like, well, no, thank you. And she was like, oh, no, you should really meet him. He's really nice. And she just went on to tell me all these things about Ernest. And this went on for a number of months. And I didn't know that they were telling him things about me.
Right. So at the same time things were going with her, they were telling Snooks about me. They were telling me about her. But the problem was, we were both getting out of really bad relationships.
Well, not just getting out of. I was kind of, it had been a while. I was just really enjoying my freedom, more or less. I had my 2 nieces that were with me, and we would go hang out and just do fun girl stuff. And that's kind of where I wanted to leave it at that.
Okay. No, I get that. And I guess I had been out of my relationship as well, for a while. But it was one of those things where it left such a sour taste that I was just focused on getting my business handled. I was going to school. I was freshly out of the military, and I just wanted to stay focused. So I threw her number away when it was given to me.
Yeah, and I looked at his number. They gave me his number and said, you should call him. And I was like, are you kidding me? First of all, you want me to meet him, and then you want me to call him? So I already had kind of a thought that this dude must think that he's all that if he thinks I'm calling him, because I'm not going to call him. So I never called. Like he said, he threw my number away. I threw his number away. Well, I was a Christmas party.
Right, it was a Christmas party. I was
going to with some friends, and so I'm on my way over. We're getting ready to go over. This is before cell phones really were a thing, well, for normal folk. And my friend called me, and I was like, hey, I'm just putting my dress on. And so she just let me know ahead of time that he was going to be at the party, and I didn't like that at all. But she's like, I didn't want you to just come in and just be taken by surprise. So at least give you a heads up that he's going to be there. So I drove to her house, and then I went with her and her husband, and he was there. And
well, I was there only because, so one of my mom's best friends, who was my mom's best friend, was her son couldn't take her to the actual Christmas party. So, like I said, I was in school. I was trying to get some stuff done. So they asked if I wanted to get out of the house.
and said, hey, you should actually take her as an escort. And I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. I'll take my auntie, because she was like my big auntie. And when and I could talk to anybody, so it didn't really matter who was there. So anyway, we get there, and we're sitting down at the table, and she's like, oh, by the way, I have to tell you that Rana's going to be here. I was like, well, who's that? And so she was like, remember that girl I told you about? I just kind of shrugged my shoulder and said, okay, well, fine. Because again, my mentality was I'll talk to anybody, from a friendly standpoint. I wasn't trying to get into anybody, like, to dating or anything like that, but I was open to, having somebody to hang out with, kick it, talk to, what have you. And so that was pretty much why Snooks calls this the Bamboozled.
Because we both were bamboozled. I didn't know he was going to be there until the day of, and he didn't find out that I was going to be there until the day of. So.
They tricked us into actually meeting, which was fine, because we sat there and I thought it was cool. We talked and talked, because when she walked up, all I saw were teeth and boobs.
Okay, no, my dress was covering everything. It was a strapless dress. It wasn't all hoochie coochie or anything like that. It was really elegant, and my boobs weren't out.
Well, I must have a really good imagination.
You do. Okay. You do. Anyway, so we get there and we meet, and he's talkative.
To say the least.
To say the least. And they set us together, and I just like, no, I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't feeling him because, like I said, I felt bamboozled. And I had a friend sitting at a different table. I got up and I made her come and sit at our table, and just so that, it was apparent that, no, sir, there will be nothing going on after this. And
which was fine, because I wasn't looking for anything to go beyond that. Again, I was just looking for somebody. I wasn't even looking for anybody to kick it with. It was just, if she was there, cool. If I meet somebody, and, it could have been anybody, and just to hang out with.
Anyway, so I was thinking that as the night progressed, or when the night was over, I don't know why, but we were still sitting at the table. Everybody was getting up, leaving. And I was thinking, okay, well, made it through the night, scot-free.
Whoa,
no,
no
issue.
Wait,
no, I'm not done. I got to finish. I
get
to finish.
Okay, I know ladies first, but let me just say this. She's fast-forwarding to when the night was over. But let me just say this. That earlier in the evening, she kept getting up.
I said that I got up and got my friend.
But I got to give my 2 cents. Oh. You kept getting up and going to talk to these other people at the table. And I thought, okay, well, she knows a lot of people. I found out after the fact.
Because I told you.
I heard through the grapevine.
You didn't hear.
There
were no grapevines.
There
were no people.
I heard that she was going around telling all these other people.
Nope.
But he's a nerd. I don't know why they would ever say that. I don't know why they would ever say that we needed to talk to each other. No, he's not even my type. And
okay.
Blah, blah, blah,
First
blah,
of
blah.
all, now he's just putting 15 on it. No, I did say that he was a nerd. I did say, I don't know why they thought that we would be good together, but I did not say that to a lot of people. I said that to Tracy, and I didn't tell you until much later that I thought that. Anyway, so we are at the table at the end of the night, and so I was like, okay, well, nice meeting you. And he said the same thing, kind of like, yeah, nice meeting you too. And so we were both pretty much content to go our own separate ways. And then out of the blue, his mom's friend, she's like, okay, so did you guys exchange numbers? I was like, dag nabbit, almost got away. And we both were like, no. And so she's like, well, looked at us like, duh, obvious, exchange numbers. So I gave him my business card. He gave me his business card. And I thought that was going to be it, because like I said earlier, there was no attraction. He wasn't my type.
On her part. But by the end of the night, I knew. And it was one of those funny things. Well, if you were to ask my sisters, they'd be like, oh, he knew. Again. So let's just say I had a history of knowing that, I had met somebody. But this time it was different. And I even called my cousin and told him, like, I think I met the person I'm going to marry. And he didn't take me serious either, because, again, I had a bit of a reputation for, I met somebody new and she's the one. And
that makes you sound flighty.
I know it does, doesn't it?
So you shouldn't say
Flighty,
that.
I shouldn't say that?
No.
Okay. We might take that out. But long story short, I actually was, what's the word? Be smitten? I was smitten with her.
Besotted.
I don't know. But I really liked her. I thought, okay, you know what? This could be something. And over the course of time,
okay, so what ended up happening was that was a Saturday. I'm sorry, yeah, that was a Saturday evening. He called me, and I remember things. I'm like, what they say, elephant remembers everything, whatever that
I'm
is.
not going to call you an elephant.
Okay, please don't. But so he called me. He ended up calling me on Wednesday, and we talked. And I was like, "Oh, he seems nice, you know." And so we started talking about his grandparents' 50th anniversary, which was coming up on that next Saturday, and he invited me to come. And so after talking to him, I thought, well, maybe I kind of prejudged, and so let me give it another shot, pretty much. And so that was Wednesday. Then we talked again on Thursday, and so Saturday I see him again, and he was still a little nerdy, but it wasn't
Nerdy?
as it wasn't as
I
bad
was not
as
nerdy. Look, I was the MC for. I'm the second oldest of all the grandchildren, so I had the opportunity to, because my older cousin he didn't like being up in the front, so he allowed me to actually be the MC. So I ended up taking the mic, and I was in my tux, looking good, you know, doing what I do, and she saw me interact with people, and let's just say the rest was history.
Okay, not exactly history,
Something
but
like that.
okay. We're here
Rather than go
now.
through all the details,
Yeah.
I will say this, because you'll learn more as we go through the podcast, but I will tell you this. From that night to approximately, I would even say less than 4 months later, no, right around 4 months later, we were engaged. So the nerd, the geek, the talkative
I didn't call
guy,
you geek.
got game. I'm just saying. Didn't she just say I was a little nerdy?
Yeah, that's not calling you a geek.
But here's the thing.
It's Geek Squad, not Nerd Squad.
But here's the thing. When you're looking at your relationship that you want to form with somebody and you're going down the road, you have to be careful what you want, what you put out into the universe. Because even though we both weren't looking for anyone, I can say I wasn't looking for anyone, and you've heard her say that she wasn't either. When you put things out in the universe, they have a way of coming back to you. And I believe that when you go through bad relationships or you go through anything else, and you start thinking about the things that you do want or the things that you don't want, that's a vibrational input you're kind of putting out there to the universe.
And also, not just about putting things out there to the universe. Also, just keep in mind of the things that you truly want. Even if you don't, well, I guess that it might be putting it out there. The things that you truly want, do not settle. I tell people that all the time. Do not settle. If you really want this, don't settle for that. Stay the course and have faith and believe that you will get this, and don't settle for that.
Well, it's funny, but when you put stuff out to the universe and you're talking about your wants, your dislikes, the things that you want to avoid or attract to you, think of it as like a bank, almost like dollar cost averaging when it comes to investing. You keep putting a little bit in, a little bit in, a little bit in, and you're not really thinking about how much you're really putting in the bank or in the system. But what you are doing is preparing yourself for a point in life when you're going to need to make, what's it called? Take a withdrawal. You're going to have to take a withdrawal out. And that's pretty much what transpired with us, because over the course of time, even when I was, in the military, doing all those things I shouldn't be doing as a young person, you're putting out there the things that you don't want, things that you do want. And even I'd mentioned that I was getting out of a bad relationship, or I was out of a bad relationship. I knew for sure what type of individual I did not want to be with. And I knew what kind of person I didn't want to be any longer as well. And by putting these things out there, it's just a matter of time before they come back to you. And even though we weren't looking for anyone, it's funny how the people around us orchestrated this entire, what would you call it, bamboozlement?
Yeah,
But they orchestrated this entire thing to bring us together, even though we were very adamant with them about how we did not want to meet anybody. And as things turned out, we were exactly the people that we wanted. We personified the things that we were looking for, yet we didn't at that moment know that we were looking for them.
But also, when you're talking about the things that you want, instead of focusing on the things that you don't want, just focus on the things that you do want, because you could say the same two things. One just comes across more negative than the other. And if you're trying to eliminate negative thought, negative actions, then
Right.
don't say negative things. You say, I'm not going to say, oh, I don't want a bad relationship. I'm going to say, I want a great relationship. Obviously, if I want a great relationship, that means I don't want a bad one.
True.
But if I'm saying I don't want a bad relationship, it makes more sense to say, oh, I want a great relationship. I'm going to start saying all the things that I do want and focus more on what I want versus.
And keeping it positive. And this isn't just us. I mean, these are the things that were happening. But nowadays, we're starting to learn more and more and more. And you're hearing a lot of rhetoric from people like Oprah Winfrey and Deepak Chopra. And you got a lot of biohackers out there like Tim Ferriss and a variety of other individuals that are talking about when you're thinking about stuff, be very clear and specific about what you are trying to attract into your life. Whether it's through prayer or meditation or what have you, be positive because the universe can't distinguish, and your mind actually can't distinguish between, whether it being a negative or a positive. It's just a thing. So when you're talking about, be careful what you say, like reducing debt. People always talk about reducing debt. If you keep reducing debt, the universe is hearing debt. This is what I'm trying to attract into my life. Rather than thinking about, well, wealth building. I want to focus on building my wealth. Well, building wealth, a part of building wealth is going to be about reducing debt. So when you're talking about relationships, the type of people that you want to be around for the rest of your life, whether it's, a husband and wife scenario, or if you're talking about the people that you want in your inner circle, you need to hang with better people, business partners, what have you. You need to focus on those things, the attributes that are positive. And the more you think about it, the more you talk about those positive attributes, the more you'll actually find that those individuals will be in your life more and more. And it's funny how they just show up. You never know. You just might get bamboozled into being a business partner or a life partner with somebody that has the traits that you're looking for.
Well, that's the great part is if you focusing on it. It depends on what I'm sorry. It all depends on what you are focusing on. Proverbs 23:7 starts out, "For as a man thinketh, so is he." Paraphrasing obviously. And what is that book? Think and Grow Rich.
Oh yeah,
Napoleon Hill. Yeah. So as a man thinketh, so is he. So as he continues to think, so he remains. That's so profound to me. I love that.
And this is stuff that we're not making up. You'll find a lot of these teachings in Proverbs. You'll find it in the Holy Bible. You'll find it in a lot of readings. Like if you've heard of people like Zig Ziglar, Napoleon Hill, there's a variety of individuals that are out there. Dale Carnegie. There's a ton of books out there. And I don't want to just call them self-help, but these are just really more about really controlling your thoughts. And that's what happens in our relationships nowadays as well. Relationships between husband and wife, groom and bride, seem to get out of hand when we don't control our thoughts and we let our thoughts just run away with us and we start to assume things. We start to imagine things. But we need to get better at controlling those thoughts. And a lot of what we're going to talk about isn't so much teaching you how to do that, but giving some scenarios, stuff that we've been through, things that we might see in the contemporary world. And it really comes back to controlling thoughts.
Yeah, and our purpose for being here is to just share. So many times, people will go through things. Everyone is going to go through something in life, but you have to be willing. You have to be brave enough, really, to kind of share and be transparent and tell someone how you got through something. It may be embarrassing. It may not be embarrassing. It may be, some people may look like, oh, why she say that? Or I would never share that. Well, I believe that when you share, you're giving an opportunity for someone to learn, but you're also gaining an opportunity to learn something from them also.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Do you have something?
No, I said it already. I said it already.
Well, look, this is just a quick intro to who we are. Our podcasts are generally going to go, hopefully, anywhere from, 20 to 40 minutes. I mean, sometimes it may be as short as 20 minutes. Other times they may be as long as 45 minutes. But it really just depends on the message, the content, and what we're really feeling in the moment. But the bottom line, it's not about us. It's things that we think that we would love to share with you. That's what we're always going to come back to. Sometimes we'll be able to get it out in the shorter period, the shorter duration. Sometimes it may take a little bit longer. It might be some content. Never know. We might occasionally have, the rare guest individual that may call in and we can talk. There may be other couples that we want to talk to and get their insight. But the bottom line is that we're trying to reach out to you and hopefully, ease your path, give you and let you know that you're not by yourself. And these are real conversations happening between a husband and wife of 20 plus years.
And if it doesn't ease you, If nothing else, maybe it'll make you laugh a little bit. So sometimes we're kind of humorous.
Yes, every now and every blue moon, and I generally think I'm funnier than I am. So
Yeah, no.
But if you have any questions, if you have anything that you want us to talk about, you have anything that you want to share, we love your feedback. You can always go to snooksandlovey@gmail.com. And that's Snooks, SNOOKS, and Lovey, LOVEY, @gmail.com.
The and is spelled out AND.
It is. And so we'd love to hear from you. And, whatever platform you're listening to us on, whether that be Stitcher or through podcasts over on Apple, we'd love to have you go out there and rate us and, let us know how we can get better and let us know that you appreciate us. The more that you share, the more that you pump us up and let us know that we're doing the right thing and we're really chiming along and giving you what you need. Share with other people so that way we can get their input and we can help a larger audience as well. Again,
yeah, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to us talk.
We do. We truly do. So once again, thank you for joining us on the first episode of the Snooks and Levy Show. And just keep pushing on. We want you to have a great day, enjoy the rest of your life, and be blessed.
Be blessed.